Apple's not playing fair, folks. The iPhone 15 lineup just took a nosedive in prices, hitting an all-time low. They're spearheading promotions themselves, with price cuts all over $1,000. Has the once untouchable Apple hit a sales snag? It's game over, guys. iPhone is feeling the heat. I reckon the few hundred devices I've got today are going to lose money. Look, it's all over the news. Prices plummeting to record lows within less than 6 months of release, with reductions all north of 1,000. Hong Kong technology research firm Counterpoint Research has released statistics showing a significant decline in iPhone sales in China, with a 24% drop in the first 6 weeks this year. Furthermore, in the second half of 2023, Apple's market share in China fell from 19 to 15.7%, ranking it fourth among smartphone manufacturers in the country. The lackluster market response to Apple's iPhone in China has been met with smug satisfaction by some nationalistic consumers who attribute this to a display of patriotic sentiment. A trend has emerged in China where purchasing Huawei smartphones is regarded as an act of patriotism, while buying iPhones is seen as idolizing foreign brands. This attitude is bolstered by numerous videos and social media platforms criticizing iPhones. This nationalistic trend gained momentum especially after Huawei launched its high-end model Mate 60 Pro in 2023, which was marketed with a focus on its domestic chip and branded as the pride of China. With what seems like the government's nod of approval, a wave of online sentiment rallying against Apple and in favor of Huawei has notably boosted Huawei sales, undermining Apple's once dominant position in the premium smartphone segment. However, is patriotism truly the reason behind the plummeting iPhone sales? The key factor may well be the ongoing economic downturn in China, leading to a contraction in the smartphone market.
Guys, I spent over $3,000 on an iPhone yesterday, and now I'm flat broke. I'm planning to cut out ordering takeout and start cooking for myself. I've been on a diet lately anyway, so I'll just keep things simple. After all, I'm broke.
Amid China's most severe deflation in recent years, Apple faces not only pressure from Huawei in the high-end market, but is also squeezed by lower-priced competitors such as Oppo, Vivo, and Xiaomi in the mid-range market. Following the pandemic, China's real estate and financial markets have sequentially imploded. With the economy in recession and the job market shrinking, Chinese consumers, anticipating harder times ahead, are generally opting to tighten their wallets. China, a market that Apple has heavily relied upon for manufacturing and sales, has seen even weaker consumer spending power after COVID-19 lockdown measures were relaxed, resulting in persistently lackluster demand for iPhones. For instance, during the last year's Double 11 sales promotions in China, the iPhone 15's sales lagged far behind Chinese brands like Huawei and Xiaomi. Market analysts pointed out that Apple's declining sales were due to its products being priced significantly higher than those of Chinese brands, coupled with supply chain issues that affected shipments, causing many high-end consumers to switch to Huawei instead. To boost sales, Apple has resorted to lowering prices. In January this year, the retail price of the iPhone 15 in China was reduced by 500 yuan, approximately $70. Apple rarely makes price reductions on its official website, with the most common discounts seen during the back-to-school promotional period in the third quarter, mainly targeting laptops and tablets. The fact that such promotions for the popular iPhone series are happening in the beginning of the year indicates that Apple has encountered a bottleneck in the Chinese market. The senior vice president at market analyst firm Canalys, Nicole Peng, believes that due to intensifying competition and Apple fans' growing reluctance to upgrade their phones, Apple is under pressure to increase its global sales volume, especially in the Chinese market. Hence, these discounts are not surprising. Analysts at International Data Corporation suggested Apple is adapting to the trend of deflation in China, aiming to stimulate consumer interest in iPhones. Ivan Lam, an analyst with Counterpoint Research, has noted, quote, "We've seen an increasing reliance on promotional activities to drive iPhone sales in the Chinese market." Shortly after Chinese New Year, on February 29, Apple once again partnered with third-party platforms for a major price reduction promotion. including its official flagship stores on Tmall and JD.com. Restore coupons and platform vouchers included, the price of iPhone 15 128G dropped to only 4,849 yuan, or approximately $674, setting a new record low for iPhone 15 series in official flagship stores. This made China's online platforms one of the cheapest places to purchase Apple products outside the United States. The topic of iPhone 15 official flagship store prices hit all-time low, quickly trended on Weibo. This price reduction promo coincided with International Women's Day, which is not traditionally a significant sales promotion period in China. This has led to speculation that Apple may have no choice but to engage in a price reduction strategy in China. Marketing experts suggest that Apple's strategy of reducing prices serves a dual purpose. It not only helps clear inventory to enhance cash flow, but also uses price competition to boost market share and attract new customers. Historically, Apple has maintained strict control over the retail pricing of iPhones by its distributors to protect direct sales profits on its official website and to prevent dilution of the brand's value due to excessive price cuts. However, the persistent economic downturn and adverse effects of a strong U.S. dollar in 2023 indicate a shift in Apple's marketing strategy for its smartphone division, aiming for improved sales volumes. Not just the iPhones, but Tesla's electric vehicles are also facing a bleak sales outlook in China. Due to weak demand during the New Year holiday and increased competition, sales of electric vehicles in China, including Tesla, have declined in February. According to Bloomberg News, Tesla shipped 60,365 vehicles from its Shanghai Gigafactory in February. This represents a 16% decrease from the previous month, a 19% drop from the same period last year, and the lowest total shipments since December 2022. Tesla recently announced via its official Weibo account that buyers of Model 3 and Model Y rear-wheel drive versions during March will enjoy rewards and discounts worth thousands of yuan. These include up to 8,000 yuan in insurance subsidies, 10,000 yuan in designated paint protection benefits, and a low-interest financing policy at 1.99% annually. Overall, this will reduce the prices of the Model 3 and Model Y by more than 3%, effectively bringing them down to 245,900 yuan and 250,900 yuan, respectively. 2024 has seen Tesla lower its prices more than once, not just as a response to the competitive pressure from China's domestic electric vehicle brand BYD, but also as an effort to boost sales. Despite these price reductions, Tesla struggles to ignite consumer interest, reflecting a broader shift of Chinese consumer behavior. Rather than prioritizing brand prestige, Chinese shoppers are now focusing more on getting the best value for their money. A Bloomberg report from February highlighted that the combination of a real estate crisis and job instability has led to Chinese consumers, who were once major buyers of luxury goods globally, tightening their wallets. With consumer prices in China dropping for 4 consecutive months, retailers find themselves in an increasingly fierce price competition. This emphasis on value for money is putting mid-range brands in a difficult position and making it even harder to sell luxury goods. This trend of consumption downgrade has propelled Uniqlo and fast food chain conglomerate Yum China to see significant profits, with its stock prices continuously rising. For instance, Yum China, which recently announced its fourth quarter sales, saw its stock price achieve the largest increase since 2022. By introducing new promotions and pricing, this fast food chain group has successfully attracted cautious Chinese consumers, with its financial report showing that sales for KFC and Pizza Hut experienced mid-double-digit growth compared to the same period last year. Additionally, Luckin Coffee, with its lowest priced coffee at just 9.9 yuan, or about $1, surpassed Starbucks in sales last year, becoming the largest coffee chain brand in China. Meanwhile, higher-priced brands like Starbucks and L'Oreal have seen mediocre performance in the consumer market, impacting their stock performance. Recently, there have been reports that LVMH's Benefit Cosmetics is set to exit the Chinese market by the end of June or early July, gradually withdrawing from all Sephora outlets in China. Several Sephora store customer services informed reporters that Benefit would withdraw from their counters by the end of March, primarily due to poor sales. Terrence Kahn, a client portfolio strategist at Fidelity Investment Management, believes people lack the confidence for major expenditures, such as buying houses or cars, or making larger-scale investments, and this trend is expected to continue. During the Chinese New Year holiday, the self-restraint of Chinese consumers was fully demonstrated. Despite a 19% increase in domestic tourist numbers, the per capita spending was lower than 2019. The reduction in consumer prices indicates that deflationary pressures are forming, significantly weakening the pricing power of corporate brands. Founder of Hong Kong's Chartwell Capital Limited, Ronald W. Chan, commented that no one is buying expensive or mid-range products. They're all buying low-end products. Hence, the emergence of 3 yuan breakfast shops, viral promotions like KFC's 9.9 yuan buy one get one free deal, and McDonald's poor man's meal are all aimed at attracting low-end consumer groups. With the Chinese economy expected to remain sluggish, multinational corporations must adjust their positioning to capture a larger market share. The situation is also evident among local Chinese brands, as Alibaba once lost its title as China's highest valued e-commerce platform to the emerging platform Pinduoduo last year.
I'm telling you, don't even think about starting a business anymore. Consumption downgrade is real serious right now. People who shouldn't spend, don't, and those who can, spend less. The rich are cutting back, and the poor have even less to spend. Consider this. Over 600 million people in China earn less than 1,000 yuan a month. Over 900 million earn less than 3,000 yuan. And 1.3 billion earn less than 5,000 yuan. And with the economy going downhill, everyone's just trying to keep their head above water, not spending any extra cash. So, if you don't have the money, what business are you going to start?
In March, Nikkei published an article titled, "Is China Drifting Further Away from Becoming a High-Income Country?" The report states that the National Bureau of Statistics of China disclosed on February 29th that the gross national income, or GNI, per capita for 2023, calculated in U.S. dollars, was $12,597. This marked a 0.1% decrease from the previous year, the first reduction in 29 years, primarily due to economic downturns and the depreciation of the yuan. The World Bank declassifies countries into 4 income categories: high, upper middle, lower middle, and low-income countries, based on GNI per capita, with the thresholds revised every July. Given the current global inflation, the threshold for a high-income country has been set at over $13,846, a 5% increase from the last update. However, China's GNI per capita not only decreased from the previous year, but also saw its gap widen from the high-income country threshold. In 2021, China was just 1% shy of the high-income standard, but the gap has widened since 2022. The main reasons include the sudden relaxation of pandemic measures, a prolonged economic downturn due to a sluggish real estate market, slow growth in corporate profits and household incomes, and the depreciation of the yuan against the dollar. Additionally, the job market in China has stagnated, with the number of people receiving unemployment insurance benefits reaching 3.5 million by the end of 2023, an increase of 550,000 from the end of 2022. The rising unemployment rate poses a challenge the government struggles to address. I've been unemployed for 4 months now, and it's completely messing with my head. I've been actively looking for work every day, sending resumes on 5 different job searching apps. I even paid for a membership on a job site, costing me 68 yuan a month. The companies I apply to only respond in 2 ways. Either they don't read my application, or they read it and they don't reply. Basically, no opportunities for any interviews. Well, that's not entirely true. I did have an interview last Friday, but I got stood up halfway there. It was my only interview after the new year. I spend my mornings sending out resumes and my afternoons learning and preparing for interviews, but it seems pointless because I can't seem to get any. 4 months without a job, no income, sometimes I feel like I'm completely useless, like I can't do anything right. I can't even sleep properly. I dream about interviews and getting a job. The only time I don't feel lost is when I'm studying or streaming. Before the new year, I was so positive, thinking the job market would get better. I believe that not just me, but all my fellow unemployed friends would find work. But who could have predicted it would be this bad? I'm at a total loss on how to go about job hunting now.
有2个朋友相继失业了。
Two of my friends got laid off and asked me if I knew of any good job opportunities. I told them I've been unemployed for a year. I left my last job because they weren't paying us on time. I thought the economy would bounce back quickly after the pandemic, but I haven't found work since. Their layoffs show this year's job market is even worse than last year. Some say it might not improve until after 2026, but who knows if that's true, and by then I'll be even older.
With the economy in a downturn and the job market facing severe challenges, China has recently seen a trend dubbed reverse consumption, essentially a downgrade in consumption. Consumers boast about spending the least amount of money to get the most value, prioritizing functionality over brand when shopping. Affordable alternatives and domestic products have become mainstream. Individuals are focusing on practicality or seeking unique and distinctive items over brand names. This leads to a more rational consumption attitude. While this shift might seem positive for individuals, it poses a hurdle for stimulating the domestic economy. As China faces increasing economic challenges with fewer options to stimulate the economy, the country's economic prospects are set to worsen in the coming years.